Eagles have to win the division and at least a playoff game for him to at least get another to get an extension.
Get ready for a shakedown. Prepare for a shakedown. From Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down.
I want to believe the hype so much for Jalen Hurts, and I've talked about him so much to this point, and it's just I don't want him to be overhyped, and I understand his offseason has been, he went to California, he worked with a lot of quarterback coaches, not just Tua. Nick had an interview the other day. It wasn't a press conference, it was just a regular interview. It said he went to California, he worked with numerous quarterback coaches, probably more than 3 or 4 quarterback coaches, and really honing in on his game. And even Shane Steichen and Nick have already talked about that he's taken a big step. I mean, his mechanics, that the throws that quarterbacks have to make in the NFL, he's got to make those throws, the simple throws.
So, well, they change his throwing motion. He comes on OTAs and he's throwing 40-yard bombs, right? And listen, it's not in pads and he's not being rushed, but it still was enough of an improvement for people to recognize that it looks like it's improved. Now we have to see it translate onto the game. My gut feeling about Jalen Hurts tells me that he is going to be 25-plus touchdowns this year.
I can agree with that.
We're going to get 25-plus touchdowns. And he's never going to have Josh Allen's arm. But he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks this year. I think he's going to have a good year. I really do. And I'll say this, too. If he doesn't and he's struggling week 8, week 9, they may pull him. I mean, I don't think he's got a lot of room to just go out there and not improve. But my gut feeling is he's going to go out there and improve. I think he's going to play well.
Yeah, I think my gut feeling is he's going to play well. I think he'll have over 25 touchdowns. I think he'll have 36 to 3,800 yards this year. I could probably say that.
Yeah.
I think what Jalen Hurts is going to be good at doing this year, especially if his passing game is really good, is he's going to keep the defense guessing. Because if they could expand that playbook and they can add some more play action instead of just the RPOs and the read options and having Jalen hold the ball by himself and making this offense one-dimensional, I think they could really expand this whole thing, keep the defense guessing, and this could be and I don't think Hurts has to really do that much for this. You have a great offensive line. You have some good. You're pretty packed at running back. You have Miles Sanders that's got a chip on his shoulder because he's probably pissed off. He got injured 2 times last year, so contract year. You bring Kennedy Brooks in. You have Boston Scott back. Kenneth Gainwell should have a great second year. So you have A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, Devontae Smith. Even Zach Pascal's a good addition to those 3 guys. So sky's the limit for him this year. It really is.
But I'm telling people, I keep telling, last year I didn't say a lot of things because I was like, this kid's basically a rookie. But this year I think he's got to improve in the passing game. He just does. And I think the Eagles are going to be tough on him. I do. But I think he's going to be fine. I do. I'm actually excited to watch him. I'm thinking he may surprise a lot of people. Hopefully in a good way, but Yeah.
Got Jay Koch says, sorry to say, but he can't distribute from the pocket. He's not the franchise.
Well, if you're correct, Jay, then we'll know this season, right? I think either way we come out of this thing, I don't think you're going to have a split fan base. For example, last year, if let's say the Eagles didn't do anything offensively, right, and we go into the season, half of the fan base would have been like, well, we didn't get him any help. We didn't get him weapons. What do we expect from this kid? Nobody's going to say that this year. This year, I think we're all going to either know if he is or if he isn't. And we're going to know who was right, the people that believed in him or the people that didn't. I don't think we'll come away not knowing.
It's a crappy situation for Hurts, too, at the same time, because it's because, he had a few games in 2020. He was thrown into the fire. He hasn't played 2 full seasons yet. That's the only issue I have right now. A year and a half of football. That's all you got.
Right. But the problem is the Eagles have to make a decision because they're going to have to extend him. So
it's a lot of pressure.
What he has to do in terms of I don't think it's about the numbers, right? I I say 25 to 30 touchdowns. I say that only because I think if he reaches that, then he probably hit every other marker the Eagles are going to look for. But he's got to pass the eye test. They've got to see enough to believe in him going forward. And that's what it's all about. He's loaded. He's got weapons everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
No, I agree. I know. I mean, you take the difference from what they did with Carson Wentz. I mean, you add Alshon Jeffrey Torrey. This is nothing compared to what you have around Jalen Hurts. Though these receivers you have now are better than what we had in 2017 and going to be more productive, in my opinion.
And your line is one of the better lines in the league.
Yes.
You know,
Totally agree.
Like,
okay. We have super chat for King James Turd. Sorry. Jalen Hurts said, standard has been set. Joe Burrow is the standard now to the league after Super Bowl. He knows what he has to do this season. We good.
Yeah, I agree. And Jalen Hurts has a way better offensive line than Burrow did.
Oh, it's 100%.
You know,
yeah.
So I can't wait to see it. Hurts. I can't.
Torvald says, if you look at pass distribution charts, it's obvious Hurts doesn't want to throw over the middle because he struggles diagnosing coverages.
Well, that's one of the things that supposedly he spent a lot of time working on this offseason. So we're going to have to see, how that translates. But, a lot of times young quarterbacks will struggle with diagnosing coverages and things like that. Jim Johnson, when he was the defensive coordinator of Eagles, his record with quarterbacks in their first 2 years was ridiculous because he threw so much at them, it would confuse them. And, we got to remember, Hurts is also young. So there are certain things that he might have struggled with in reading defenses. But I look at that and I say, I think he can improve there,
Yeah, and I think the second step to even Jalen Hurts succeeding is you got to have an offensive coordinator that's not going to put him in a bad position that, even when you heard the rumors, well, not the rumors, well, it was said from Shane Steichen's point of view where is Nick another Doug Peterson at this point because he was calling the plays in the beginning, and then Shane Steichen took over play calling later, the midseason, probably that Chargers game or something probably in that area. So Nick is going to, obviously, Steichen goes into a game. He has 4 to 5 plays that he's going to run, and then if things aren't working out because of mismatches or whatever the case may be, I think when it comes down to it, Nick makes the adjustments within the offense and kind of maybe switches out a few players or, maybe moves guys around or something. So is Shane Steichen a big piece to Jalen Hurts' success?
Oh, yeah. I think they feed off of each other now. How many quarterbacks are successful with a horrible coordinator or horrible coach? You kind of have to, it kind of goes both ways. What I like about the whole thing is actually more Nick Sirianni than Steichen. Like, I like the fact that you have a coach that is willing to say,
right,
you take this and you do plays. You think Chip Dip Kelly would ever give up the play calling? Even Doug Peterson did not want to give up the play calling. This is a coach that in the 2 years he's been with us so far, right, going into year 2, here's a coach that has said in the first year during the season, I got to change the entire offense to fit this team. And now he's willing to say to his offensive coordinator, you call most of the plays. I think that's a really good sign, to be honest with you, that we've got the right guy at the helm. Only time will tell.
Yeah, no, he'll make any changes he has to make for them to be more successful, whether he has more power or he doesn't on game day, and that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that, and that's great. That's good that the coach, is not taking too much control over it. That's not his way or the highway, and that's it, which I really don't like. So that's a good thing. So that's what Shane Steichen. But yeah. I have a good feeling though. I have a really, really good feeling, and I'm hope I'm right. And look, we'll know. Like I give it. I don't know how many weeks it's going to take, but what. Do the Eagles have to win a division and at least a playoff game for him to at least get another to get an extension?
I think they got to win a division. I think they have to win their division. Like, to me, if the Eagles do not win this division, it'll be a little upsetting. Now, if they made a wild card and then they win a playoff game, fine. But I think the Eagles. I think it's fair to say you win a division and you win a home playoff game. I think that's kind of my standard going in. I'm not saying they have to go to the Super Bowl or it's a championship game, but I think they need to win at least one playoff game.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's all. That's pretty much all I'm looking. I'm looking for a playoff win. I'm looking for one playoff win this year, and I think that's a good step in the right direction. Plus, if that works out, you got 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick next year. You trade for AJ Brown. You gave up no day 2 picks. You gave up no picks from the Eagles Saint trade.
Right.
You literally just I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
And don't be a dingbat, it's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes Philly Shakedown.
Let's go.